You learned bad form when it comes to manifesting your business goals. It's like learning MMA from a strip mall dojo. You picked up sloppy techniques and bad habits, and that's why you can't beat reality and get through to the next level like the gurus have been promising. And it's not even your fault. You were trained by mainstream manifestation and spiritual performers, peddling trendy tricks that were supposed to create your dream life. Vision boards, affirmations, guided meditations. You did it all, and yet you're here still searching, still stuck wondering why your business and your life won't level up. The truth is, most people never get paid to exist because they have shiny object syndrome. They bounce from hack to hack, trend to trend, never realizing that true success doesn't come from gimmicks. It comes from mastering the unseen forces of reality that bend the universe in real time and move you into effortless abundance. And I'll tell you this, you won't ever learn this in a university classroom. I have 2 degrees, and none of my professors ever breathed a word about the principles I'm about to share. And you also won't find this on your favorite spiritual influencers channel either, because they're recycling the same empty ideas everyone else's. 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs hire me for the real sauce, the frequency shift that makes your business goals the natural byproduct of your reality. And here's the thing, in the conscious economy, this is the single greatest advantage you could ever embody. But in order to ride the wave of this ascension, you have to untangle the web of confusion that's keeping you lost. If you've ever studied sales, and I highly recommend anyone serious about their business goals go learn sales at some point, you already know that sales is just applied psychology. When you understand how people's minds work, you inherently know how to market and position your product in a way that compels them to buy. I go deep into sales and communication mastery inside of my digital program, the 4-Hour Conscious Creator. These are the same principles I've been teaching my clients for years that have led to such exceptional results like you're seeing on screen now. The link is in the description. But if sales is applied psychology, entrepreneurship is applied spirituality. What I mean is this, the success of your business is directly tied to your energetic alignment and your ability to tune into your own creative genius. When you embody the frequency of an elite entrepreneur, confusion and self-doubt dissolve, and they get replaced with natural confidence and clarity. That's what allows you to actually manifest your business goals. There's a certain magic to entrepreneurship, and if you're a conscious entrepreneur or creator, that's doubly true. Creating a business that works is like one big practice in manifestation. You're creating something out of nothing, taking an idea from the spiritual and mental dimension and bringing it into the physical. You're believing in a soul-aligned vision that you have for your reality and shifting your frequency in real time so that you become the kind of person that is commanding of high-paying clients and demonstrating the value of your ideas to the world. And I don't know about you, but that is very magical and ethereal to experience, to have the patience to see it through, and have the resourcefulness to exhaust all possibilities until success is manifest. And that's what getting paid to exist actually means. It's not about wishing people hand you money for doing nothing. That's for sugar babies in Miami and Dubai. Getting paid to exist is realized when the value of your energetic presence reaches a critical mass such that your existence alone creates worlds, and your aura is a massive benefit to the people you interact with. And this reminds me of a really interesting conversation I had with a good friend of mine. His name is Spidey Akalian. He's a world-famous magician and mentalist, and he runs a big YouTube channel called Behavioral Arts. Not too long ago, we were at a friend's house, and Spidey was about to perform a trick for us where it looks like he can literally read someone's mind. Earlier that day, I had shown my other buddy, Dravko, who was there with us, a YouTube video where Spidey explained how the illusion worked. In the video, you could catch the quick moment where Spidey secretly reads what's written down on the paper. So when Spidey is doing the trick for us live, Dravko sees that little moment that he saw in the video, and then he proudly says, "I figured you out, I got you, I know exactly how you did the trick." And we all had a good laugh about it. And so afterwards, Spidey and I were having a conversation, and he told me something that I still think about to this day. He said, that's how most people react to magic. They catch 10% of the trick and convince themselves that they figured out the whole thing and it's not impressive anymore. What they don't realize is the 90% of the trick that they missed, the real mechanics that make the illusion so powerful. And that stuck with me. But why am I telling you this? Because this directly applies to how most entrepreneurs treat their business manifestations. They see others manifesting success and think, well, if I just had more followers, or I just read one more book, or used this new manifestation hack, I'd be successful overnight and everything would be fine. And so they keep hunting for the one little thing that's going to change everything. But the truth is, they're only seeing 10% of the picture. What they're missing is the 90% that actually matters, which is the deeper application of universal law that grounds spiritual mastery into practical reality. That's what turns abundance and opportunity into your default state of reality. It's the combination of magnetic frequency and elite business fundamentals that make an entrepreneur unstoppable in any industry. So the question becomes, how do you actually build this foundation for yourself? The starting point is simple. You have to shift your identity. You must embody the identity and frequency of a world-class entrepreneur. Now, I know how that sounds. You might think I'm saying fake it till you make it, like pretend to be something that you're not. But no, that's not what I'm advocating for. What I'm telling you is to study how actual successful entrepreneurs behave and operate so you understand what the real sauce is behind why they're so magnetic, compelling, and abundant. And I don't mean studying what you see on social media, because just like the magic story I told you earlier, you're only catching 10% of the trick. You're not seeing the whole picture. Here's the problem though. You probably don't know any truly successful people in real life, or you haven't paid close enough attention to the minor little details that create their experience of abundance in reality. But that's why you're here, because I've spent years befriending successful entrepreneurs and using the nerdy, obsessive, curious part of my brain to reverse engineer their magic so I can tune into that energy myself and then impart that into my clients. Here's the truth. Your experience of reality is a mental projection of what you think and feel to be true. And because reality itself holds infinite possibilities, there is already a version of you out there in the infinite field that is rich, confident, successful, admired, and powerful. But why aren't you living that version of you in this reality? The answer is simple. You haven't fully embodied the qualities and characteristics of that version yet. And because of that, you're not experiencing the results of being that person. When you understand the metaphysical reason behind this, you'll start to see how your frustration over not being where you want to be doesn't even make sense from the spiritual perspective. Let me give you a visual example. Imagine your life is a television. A TV already comes programmed with every channel you could ever watch. And you, as the one holding the remote, can change the channel at any moment. Let's say you want to watch ESPN, but right now you're stuck watching Naked and Afraid on the Discovery Channel. All you need to do is change the channel on the remote, and the screen instantly shows something different. That's exactly how reality works, except with one big difference. Reality has a delay. Your experience of reality is always a lagging indicator of the identity you are presently choosing to embody in the video game of life. The problem is that most people are so attached, almost addicted to the channel that they're on right now, not realizing that hating where they're at right now is the thing keeping them on the channel that they no longer desire. That frustration, guilt, and shame locks them into circumstances of scarcity, and they lose patience before their manifestations can ever show up. They don't trust that the TV screen will change. But what did I say earlier? Study world-class entrepreneurs closely and embody their energy. World-class entrepreneurs are professionals in everything they do. They bring hyper-focus and attention to detail, making sure their work is top quality, better than anything anyone else can offer. They carry complete, almost delusional confidence in themselves. They know that with enough time, the universe will hand over everything they desire. They don't care how many times they fail, because they see failure as feedback, each one bringing them closer to success. They treat it as an experiment in the pursuit of greatness, not as personal indications of their lack of worth. They're tremendous leaders. They put their message and ideas out into the world without fear of judgment. They're abundantly resourceful, exhausting every possible option and opportunity at their disposal to create the circumstances that they're looking for. And that's the kind of conscious entrepreneur or creator who doubles, triples, or even 10x's their revenue quickly because they understand how critical it is to be world-class at what they do, while also energetically creating space for opportunities and ideas to show up. In fact, some of the most successful entrepreneurs I've met are the most spiritually aligned. It's like every action they take, every word they speak, every creation they bring to light is a sacred expression of self. And interestingly, they're so locked into that frequency that world-class, genius levels of creation are not a big deal. There's no pressure or tension around sacredness. And that right there is the magical piece. They are so in flow with reality that they don't force a single thing. They access genius levels of power, which to the amateur looks like an unfair talent or advantage, but to the professional, it's simply the not-so-secret behind their wild success and unshakable confidence. Power isn't rigid. Power doesn't demand that things need to happen in a very particular way. Power is certainty even in the most uncertain times. It sees opportunity where others see nothing. It embraces the lostness of the path of creating a life so authentic because there is no blueprint for your soul's unique path. And it doesn't lose trust in God just because things don't go exactly as planned. Now, let's be honest. Have you actually been embodying that identity up until now? If you're serious about your business goals, you have to answer that question honestly. And if you can be honest about that, that's a beautiful place to start, because admitting the truth gives you the ability to drop the layers of identity that no longer serve you. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. The first step is admitting you have a problem. But are you starting to see it clearly now? Like how it doesn't even make sense to get mad or depressed about manifestations that haven't been manifested yet? Excellent manifestors don't get disgruntled about results they don't deserve. They understand that the universe is a mirror and make the appropriate shifts internally and externally when they receive negative feedback, so that reality more accurately reflects what they desire, embodying the truth that there is no such thing as negative feedback. It is all positive. And that right there is the disconnect. You haven't been thinking, feeling, and behaving like a professional. But now that we can be candid about that, we can move into the next level, the fundamentals of elite entrepreneurship. And that starts with asking yourself, if I was already a world-class professional in my given skill or craft, how would I approach my business goals? Because you can't solve your problems from the level that you mentally created them. You have to think and feel from the frame of reality as if you already had the solution. If you look closely, the answer is so ridiculously obvious. I don't care what industry you're in, or what your job title is, or what you're looking to create. If you want to monetize your genius or scale your business to that next level, what I'm about to share is universal across all categories of creation. You need to master lead generation and lead conversion. Lead generation is the art of creating awareness around your product or service to the degree that people care and are actually interested. Lead conversion is the practice of giving such a compelling offer that people eagerly pay you for it. If you do nothing else except focus on these two areas in any business, you would always find a way to monetize your creation and level up. It's that simple. But people love to complicate entrepreneurship. They chase all the tricks and hacks, but at the fundamental level, every single strategy is designed to do one of two things: generate more leads or convert more of them into paying clients. Of course, the strategy itself will vary depending upon your industry, but the premise never changes. You need to create awareness around what you do, and you need to get what you do in front of the right people. And this is why common fears like the fear of being seen or the fear of rejection translate directly into making less money or no money at all. Because if you're too afraid to put your message out into the world wholeheartedly, knowing fully that some people are not going to value it, then of course you'll never build an ecosystem powerful enough to command attention. But remember, you're no longer the old version of yourself. You're embodying the identity of a professional world-class entrepreneur. And fear is just a relic of your past. As a professional, you approach your vision with a long-term trajectory, understanding that with enough time, discipline, and mastery, your idea will take on a life of its own because you are world-class at what you do. Think about this from the macro perspective too. Every successful company knows this. Corporations spend billions on marketing and advertising to keep their products top of mind. Musicians give a huge cut of their sales to record labels so they can get distribution, reach, and more listeners. Big social media creators land massive brand deals to promote other people's products because that exposure generates leads and inevitably sales. Look at any scaled business and you'll see the same thing. They are leveraging attention and awareness so people know their product exists. And believe it or not, this even applies if you have a traditional corporate job and not necessarily trying to be an entrepreneur. If you want pay raises and promotions, you need to shift your identity from an employee who just collects a paycheck every month to an intrapreneur, someone who brings entrepreneurial energy into their work. Companies will happily pay top dollar to employees who are resourceful, who elevate the quality of the product, and who drive more business. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients secure huge bonuses and pay raises just by shifting into this mindset. At the end of the year, when they sit down with their bosses to do performance reviews and clearly demonstrate their value, the company doesn't want to lose them. They will negotiate with you. They'll give perks like extra paid time off. They'll offer you more because you've proven your worth. This mindset shift alone, coupled with a clear communication of your value, is often the exact reason someone finally gets the promotion they've been waiting on for years. Now, you might be thinking and asking yourself, all right, Jose, I totally get that, but how do I actually do this? How do I realistically generate more leads and convert more clients? That, my friend, is where your creative genius and resourcefulness come in. You must find ways to demonstrate your value that stand out from everything else in the market. If you're a conscious entrepreneur and you're ready to eradicate your revenue ceilings so that you can maximize your income, then join my members list with over 1,000 other members receiving weekly insights on reality creation and business. Due to popular demand, I will be opening up more spots to work with me one-on-one soon. Join my members list now, and I'll let you know when that becomes available. But without knowing any context of your business or what you're specifically creating, there's one critical factor that universally elevates the quality of your work. One factor that always results in more leads, more conversions, and more momentum. And that is aligned action. The hustle gurus will tell you that the key to success is grinding 10 times harder, working until you burn out, and forcing outcomes into existence. But here's the truth. 1 hour of aligned action is worth 10 hours of forceful action. Aligned action is when what you're doing feels divinely connected to who you are, while also being the most productive thing that you can do for your business. And that's the difference most people never see. Because as a conscious being, you already know that grinding endlessly doesn't actually get you anywhere. You've tried that. You've burned yourself out. You've played the game of trying to impress others, and at this point, you don't care about that anymore. Like you're just tired of it all. And that's actually good, because that breakdown point is fertile soil for a massive breakthrough in how you approach the universe. You are at the point where your soul is calling you to flow with reality and finally reach a place where results come naturally, not through force. The point here is simple. Aligned actions are the key to grounding spiritual mastery into practical reality. It's about playing in the energetic dimension of your soul's path while also grounding it in what works from a pragmatic business standpoint. What you want to create now is what I call synergy. Synergy is when all aspects of life become productive, meaning that even activities that are not directly tied to business are still productive from a business perspective. Because when you use the creative genius you've cultivated through your deep inner work, even simple things like going for a walk in the sun or hitting the gym become part of your work. How does that make sense? Because those activities turn your mental gears. They create space for divine downloads to come through. And when you return to your desk, you're more locked in, more focused, and more tapped into your intuitive wisdom. That's what makes your actions so much more effective. Now, from a place of pragmatism, the click here is to identify the aspects of your business that feel most inspiring to you, the ones that honor your natural strengths and feel fun to do. Everything else, you delegate it. Anything that has to do with building websites or admin tasks or bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, anything and everything that doesn't align, you delegate it. Because as godly as you are still a human being. You only have 24 hours in a day and limited mental bandwidth. You must guard those resources like your life depends on it, because your life actually does. And this loops back into being an elite entrepreneur. World-class individuals are extremely cautious about what they spend their time on. They enforce boundaries because time is the most precious resource. You can always make more money, but you will never get back your time. So what do? They outsource. They protect their focus and channel it into the highest leverage activities that matter most: lead generation and lead conversion. Professionals know that their energy must be spent on what moves the needle, and they also know that when their actions feel aligned and spiritually enlivening, that's when their best work flows from them. Now, obviously, this is easier if you already have a team. If you're earlier on in your journey, you sort of have to be a Swiss Army knife and handle many different tasks at first, but the principle still applies. Spend 80% of your time on the highest leverage activities that generate leads and conversions. Do that until you have the capital to build a team, and then hand off the responsibilities that drain you. That way, your time can be spent on the things that light you up. When this becomes your dominant frame, and you build a business through aligned actions, you won't need to rely on affirmations or mantras to manifest breakthroughs. You become the breakthrough and hack the matrix in real time. Revenue blocks vanish, and your ecosystem begins generating its own frequency that magnetizes abundance and success. And really, the overarching point here is that there is no competition when you're playing your own game. As a conscious soul, you are in your own category. And when you honor that more closely by letting go of the gimmicks and strategies that you're copying from someone else, that creates the space in your energetic field for your unique path to unfold naturally, and your intuition becomes your dominant source of guidance. There is no trick that perfectly fits the blueprint of your soul's path. The deeper you lean into this frequency, the more the universe meets you halfway in the manifestation of your heart's desires. But the formula is simple. Think like a world-class entrepreneur and act accordingly. Otherwise, you'll get stuck manifesting a fraction of what you deserve instead of being the excellent receiver you were born to be. High-level manifestors are really world-class receivers. Abundance is their birthright. They allow the universe to bless them because they know the power within themselves. They're not surprised when they hit record months or when new opportunities flow faster than ever. That's just a natural byproduct of synchronistic living. It's normal. They relax into the warm embrace of God's intuition as they create world-class works of art and watch reality reflect the genius they so courageously nurtured. And then, getting paid to exist isn't just a trendy mantra. It becomes your everyday experience of reality.